Next, we will learn about Isaac. How to find a wife for Isaac. At that time, Isaac was already 40 years old. At that time, Abraham wanted to find a wife for his son Isaac. But he decided that his son must not marry a woman from the land of Canaan. Why couldn't Abraham let his son Isaac marry a Canaanite woman? Abraham understood. God was to give the land of Canaan to Abraham. It was because the Canaanites were too wicked, committing grievous sins. Therefore, God was unwilling to continue giving the land to the Canaanites. But when the time was fulfilled, God would give the land to Abraham whom he loved. Thus, Abraham knew he must not take a Canaanite woman as a wife for his son. Moreover, God had originally said that he would give the land to Abraham only after 400 years, until the sin of the Canaanites reached its full measure, accumulating to a certain point. Then God would give the land to Abraham. Therefore, Abraham understood that he must not take a Canaanite woman as a wife for his son. He then summoned the eldest servant in his household and spoke to him. Go to my homeland. Yes, go to my homeland, to my relatives there, and find a wife for my son. Moreover, he made the servant swear by the Lord, the God of Abraham. I will make you swear by the Lord of heaven and earth. Do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of Canaan. This is what Abraham said. Do not take a Canaanite woman as a wife for my son. Now we understand. What is the woman of the spiritual land of Canaan? We know that in the Old Testament, the land of Canaan was inhabited by non-Israelite people in the Middle East. The people of the land of Canaan. But who, then, are the people of the spiritual land of Canaan today? Just doesn't believe in the Lord. Those who do not believe in the Heavenly Father, the spiritual Canaanites. Then what about those who do not believe in the Heavenly Father? If you are to marry, you must never take such a woman as your wife, because unbelievers will cause us to turn away from God. So the servant obeyed Abraham's command and set out to find a wife for Isaac. But the servant was worried and said, if I go to your birthplace to find a wife for your son, but the woman refuses to come with me, should I then bring your son back to live in her homeland? Abraham replied, by no means. Why shouldn't he return to Abraham's birthplace? Abraham answered, because God has promised to give this land of Canaan to me. So both I and my son must dwell in this land. Once we have left our homeland, we must not return, because that homeland is no longer my home. The land I will inherit is the land of Canaan, not my former homeland. Abraham said, do not, under any circumstances, take my son back to the land of my birth. It was Jehovah who commanded me to leave my homeland, so that he might give me this land. Thus both I and my son must dwell in this land. And so Abraham continued, may the angel of Jehovah go with you, and may Jehovah grant you success on your journey. Thus, Abraham's senior servant went to Abraham's homeland to find a wife for Isaac. Finding a wife for Isaac. From how Abraham sought a wife for his son. What lesson do we draw from this? We learn about Abraham's faith. He believed that he and his son would surely inherit the land of Canaan. Therefore, he firmly refused to let his son return to his birthplace, insisting that they must dwell in the land of Canaan. He also understood that the Canaanites were wicked people who did not believe in God. In God's eyes, he is a wicked person. So he demanded not to marry a woman from the land of Canaan. And he even swore not to marry a woman from the land of Canaan. Glory be to the Father and the Lord. Amen.